he was going to go seek out an alligator-infested pond, he just didn't have the wherewithal to do it. So he stops on the side of the road and discards her.
Nope.
Like I believe he treated her throughout her entire life as rubbish.
Thank you.
You know, Gizlo, the other thing about this, it's daytime. None of this is happening at night. This is during the middle, like literally the middle of the day. And as Cody was on that road, what struck me is if anyone's driving by and someone did see him changing a tire and remembered it and noticed it, and that was really crucial in them finding.
I have to stop. I said I wouldn't, but that someone is Thomas Karras. I don't think he's in chat today, but Thomas, we love you, and we cannot wait to get that exclusive interview with you. It was Thomas Karras that saw that, called the tip line, and followed it all the way through, guys. I wish they would have said his name. And welcome, Rebecca Michelo. I'm sorry that I can't talk to you today on the phone, but tomorrow I should have a better opportunity. You guys, we have a great show coming up on Sunday with Rebecca and Toddy One, and hopefully Bree can join us for a bit. Yeah, he got a flat tire because he's an idiot. But where was he going? This was not of opportunity. I don't think Joseph Scott Morgan knows really about this case completely. I think they just had him chime in as a devil's advocate, so to speak. There's no possible way that Stephen Stearns did that out of an opportunity or convenience. That is not how it works. Yeah, this too. Thank you. And it's all in opinion, right? All in the opinion. All right. But I don't think that's what happened with Joseph Scott.
Finding her body.
Yeah, broad daylight. I think he really got a flat tire because they found that old tire in the dumpster because he was dumb enough to go back to that apartment complex and put it in there. So I think him being there in broad daylight, that must have really made him nervous because the witness said when he drove past, he looked scared. That was the look he described on his face. Like he looked scared and he was like holding the tire iron and, you know, I don't know if he'd ever changed a tire in his life. He also did laundry that day. So it was like a big day for him. But to think that he ran across the road as well or drove in there onto private property was high risk.
High risk. What are your thoughts there, Joseph? Do you think he carries her from one side of the road to the other?
Nope.
Or do you think he takes the car to the other side of the road?
I think both of them are plausible. However, to physically take this young girl's remains in his arms and walk across the road is, in fact, high risk. He could have slung a Yui at that point in time if he did, in fact, have a flat tire and pull over in that open, more open area to facilitate the changing of it. Who knows? But he knew, just like with a lot of killers like this, they need to put as much distance between themselves and the body as possible. Now, there's some out there that hold on to remains and bury them on their own property or try to hide them in a familiar location. I mean, an area that is lived in. This might be a site that he has passed by before. He had noticed it. Hey, there's a
Nope, he didn't know it at all. Again, I think they're just playing devil's advocate. No pun intended, folks. I have to correct Joseph Scott Morgan. He didn't know this area one bit. He didn't know about 192. He wouldn't have went down into that area where there was nothing. And when you stop, people think it's weird because nobody stopped there. Nobody stops there. People drive really fast, faster than the speed limit. Like I said, there was an area, there was an abandoned house right there that had lots of nails and boards, and that could have been an opportunity to get rid of her, but I don't think that's where he was going. I think he was going to keep going where Jen Soto asked him. He didn't know that area, and he wasn't going to explore it. I'll tell you that. He absolutely went back that night to go visit her body, and also I think at that time he threw some sticks and leaves and things over to kind of try to get it to do that. But yeah, he did. I believe that's Adderall is like that. And he stays up all night doing the CSAM stuff. And during the day, he sleeps. Absolutely. She does look so happy, but nobody said that she was that day. I'm no criminal, but that's a sloppy ass. Thinks he's a dumb criminal. It was sloppy, and they panicked. Both of them panicked. Stefan and Jen, whatever happened, got sloppy. They scripted a story, and they panicked. And they didn't expect the whole world to catch on that quickly. I'll tell you that right now. What's up, Franimal the Animal? Good to see you. Justice for Maddie. Absolutely. Let's go.
Tree line. I'm going to try to get rid of her here. It's
God,
still,
thank
I
you,
think,
my
too
girl.
early to tell at this point, but I think much of this might come out at trial, and we'll see what else they have to say about it relative to any statements he may have given up.
Okay, our guests are going to stay with us. We have a lot more to get into in this program. There was more than one crime scene in this case. Coming up next, what is the most important crime scene?
That's actually a really good question because you guys, we talked about the paperwork. There are two crime scenes. One is the condo, and then the other one is where he dumped Maddie. Look at Jen, the Muppet Soto. Look at that big Muppet face. Welcome, Nanaska. How you doing, girl? Never apologize. Just come on in. Just come on in. Look at that. Look at the Muppet. Let me just show you before we get back started. That's what she looks like. She's like an ugly Muppet / grimace looking thing. All right, let's go. Let's figure this out together, guys.
She last seen wearing.
Green hoodie,
Green
white
hoodie,
Crocs.
white Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
Screaming widow or mastermind behind a murder. Monica.
And her school-issued laptop from that dumpster. At 8:19, we have evidence that shows Stephen Stearns returning to the complex, and Madeline was visible in that vehicle. We believe she was already dead at that time.
Yes.
This case is...
They have good cameras nowadays, folks. Be careful what you're doing in your car. Tint your windows if you don't want the cameras catching them. Jay, I think there's 3 crime sites: home, car, and the woods. That's a possibility. That's a possibility because her body was in the car. Yeah. I never heard about that though as being one. So let's listen in and see what they say. That's a good observation. And I'm not sure that's the first time that I heard that. He needed to keep his effing mouth shut at the grandma's. Abso-freaking-lutely. And Jen Soto just about smacked him. Was like, dude, shut up. You're telling them too much and you're making yourself look even guiltier. Look at Vinny's face. It looks like mine right now. Hey.
Complicated. It's not simple. There's a lot of evidence in different places. I want you to take a look at a timeline here, and it gives you some idea of what investigators are dealing with here. You begin February 26, 7:30 a.m. Stephen Stearns is seen on apartment complex camera, as you heard, with the victim slumped over in the passenger seat. So they're in his car. She is slumped over. 9:41 a.m. Stephen Stearns is seen on camera in a parking garage, moving Madeline's body from that passenger seat into the trunk.
And again, I'm going to ask you again, why move her body into the trunk and then go back home? When he went back home, Jen Soto was doing her blood appointment. You guys know what a blood appointment is. She was just getting blood drawn. You can go anytime. The doctor will send the paperwork and you go. They don't say you got to be there at 9:15 or anything like that, you guys. Or not her specific time, 10, 12 or whatever. So I believe she was creating herself an alibi when Stefan was doing this. Again, why did he take her body, put it in the trunk, and then go back home? Why would you do that? You would go get rid of her body, but something else is going on here. Yeah, it's not that. He just didn't know where to go. She hadn't told him. He didn't take his phone. That's the problem. That's why they did such a sloppy job, guys.
Trunk of his vehicle. Okay, so they've gone from the apartment into the passenger seat, into the trunk. Then on March 1st at 4:47 p.m., Madeline Soto's body was found where we just showed you. Cody Thomas took us there, near Hickory Tree Road. So you've got a lot of scenes here. You've got the home, you've got the car, you've got where her body is found on the side of the road. It brings us to the next question in our investigations. We get ready for this murder trial. What is the most important crime scene here? Where are you going to get the evidence, the most significant evidence in this case? And what evidence will you find in each of these locations? Joining me, still with us, creator, host of Grizzly True Crime Channel. She's been following the case, Gizmo K, and forensic death investigator. Body Bags Podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan. Let's start with the home. We've got Jen's room.
Yes.
Stefan's room and Madeline's room. Gisela, from your analysis and research, what are some of the things of interest that were located in those various places, and why would?
I think Gavin's in this episode too, folks. And if he's not in this episode, he's in the one tomorrow. So that's really cool. Gavin does a great job at the case. He's really thorough, and he's got a lot of good content on his Patreon. So you guys should go over and check out Gavin Fish, subscribe to him, and get on his Patreon, guys. Rachel's been 23 years now, boys. Okay. There's an ice baby. You hear my phone? They're gonna dox me for this. They're gonna not dox. They're gonna take me down for this, right?
Would you find each of those rooms important?
I think starting with the clothing, because they were able to identify some of the images of the abuse on Stefan's phone with the clothing that he was wearing and clothing that Madeline was wearing. Then her wearing clean white socks when her body was found. Then there's her one crock in Jennifer Soto's bedroom and one in the dumpster.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's quite huge, as well as the crime scene. And then, of course, the bedding, the towels, and everything else that they've documented as well. There must be a lot of evidence in the home.
Now, Joseph Scott Morgan, before we answer the ultimate question here, let's talk about the Lincoln, the car, where she's being transported, allegedly, according to prosecutors. What are your thoughts about what you're going to be able to find, whether it's in the passenger seat in the front or in the trunk of that Lincoln?